voices in the room tonight, so thank you. As Marianne mentioned, I just published my first poetry book, which was also funded by the Minnesota State Arts Board. So thank you, voters, to the work. And Marianne, congratulations to you, because I know exactly how it feels to have your dream funded. So congrats.
Thank you.
I'm going to read two poems. The first one is called Coils, My Crown is My Garden. And I'm a spoken word poet, so I'm going to go a little bit louder than usual. Remember when India Ari sung, "Don't need ya silicone, I prefer my own, but God gave me it just fine. My kinks and coils don't need to be defined, not sleeked nor greased. My afro grows and flows up and outwardly, stretching the laws of science, defying gravity. I am magical. The world lives inside me. My hair reflects God's nature. It's the texture of thick bark on trees. Just hydrate my strands with rain, castor oil, cocoa butter, and baby, I smell like a sweet honeybee. My tresses, lovely, loud, a freedom of expression is phenomenally made beautiful. I was kissed by the king who nourished my roots in holy water down to the cuticle, the follicle. My crown is my garden. And each seed that I plant, it blossoms strong, abundantly, beyond the white soil of embedded conditioning. They taught us to think that nappy meant dreadful, taught us to feel ashamed of 4C hair that can't be contained with their bobby pins. But our sister locks don't bend to Western beauty conformity. As I rebel like Angela and march for peace, my curls and coils be dancing in the wind, boldly and free. Our magnificent hair was made to wonder, made to stare, in orbit, in stardust, in black infinity, for all to see that the standard is kinky, is coily. Don't need your silicone, I prefer my own, but God gave me it just fine. And so I sing a song like India Ari, because I am, will be, naturally me. I'm gonna show y'all a little image here. Put the phone into context. This next piece is called Ode to the Hood, where I'm from. It recently just won a poetry slam out of Salt Rapids, so I'm just gonna perform it for y'all tonight. And it actually was featured in the Minnesota Women Press too, so for October's issue. I'm from elementary and high school dropouts, from playgrounds with torn basketball hoops and stolen dreams. I'm from bus stops and long-ass walks, from Arnold's gun store, Robert's shoes, the liquor store, 7 Mile, $5 boutiques, George Floyd Square, and the corner of Chicago and Lake Street. I'm from the intersections where bullets and color wars meet, from stolen halos and streetlights that don't blink, prayers left on voicemail. For women who wear gold on every finger, poppies rocking rope chains with the Jesus piece, and uncles with bank rolls thick as loyalty. I'm from the Holy Ghost and church. I'm from, but did you still off on her first? From absent birthdays, a deadbeat father, strong mother, and a home where dysfunction is just background noise. Sirens and helicopters sound like a vacation. Where I'm from, the school's pipeline to prison isn't a stretch, it's a bus stop. I'm from IEP plans, redlining, yellow tape, Social Security, and Section 8. I'm from hopping gates, cops call, thin walls, pit bulls snarl with silver chains round their napes. I'm from cold cases and superheroes who don't wear capes. From chip polish and cheap paint left molding into slumlords. From evictions and pioneer family heirlooms handed down at birth. I'm from a generational curse and witches who survived the spell of poverty. I'm from barehanded healers, seers, medicine women who cut the life from your body without surgery. I'm from the streets that gave my TT HIV, may she rest in peace. I'm from the bullet in my daddy's knee, the deep scar on my mother's cheek. I'm from collect calls and bail money, halfway houses, screen door, chain guards, steel with brass finish. Who that be? I'm from niggas in ski masks, wearing death like fashion. I'm from tattooed portraits and men and women easily fractured, by bad habits. I'm from the war on drugs, Freedom Riders, Little Rock 9. I'm from black women 3 times more likely to die on hospital beds bringing life. I'm from the transatlantic slave, Mississippi muddy boots of trade, from the great migration, tobacco farms and plantations. The fabric of my history burns with wildfires of colonization. I'm from gentrification, where cities are built on one side of the street. I'm from couches wrapped in plastic, Sunday cleanups, lavender incense burning, Keith Sweat, Mary J, and neo soul on the stereo. I'm from all those stereotypes. I'm from mud and sand. I'm from my mother's prayers and clasped hands. I'm from prophecy, survival, from faith. Grew up hearing mama say, good things come to those who wait. I'm from her breath when she professed, it ends with me. I am the rose that blossomed, the one that shouldn't have bloomed from concrete. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. I love her writing so much, and just the role that healing, advocacy, her work, her social work as well, is incredible. Okay, our next reader is Tish Jones. Tish is a poet, MC, and hip-hop theater artist from St. Paul, Minnesota, with a deep and resounding love for Black people. Her work explores themes of Black love, liberation, politics, and Afrofuturism. Jones has exhibited her work throughout the United States and abroad as a public performance artist for over 2 decades. Her writing can be found in We Are Meant to Rise, University of Minnesota Press, A Moment of Silence, True Ruts and the Playwright Center, the Minnesota Humanities Center's anthology entitled Blue Vision, African American Writing from Minnesota by the Minnesota Historical Society Press, and more. Thank you so much.
You said the road, the school to prison pipeline isn't a blank, it's a bus stop?
Isn't it a stretch?
Isn't a stretch, but man, that was a good line. That was a really good line. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here. A goal of mine this year was to hear artists and be in community with artists that I may or may not have been in community with, so I feel really humbled and grateful to you for the invitation to be here and be a part of this project. Congratulations to you on your work, to you as well on your work. What do I want to say before I start? I think the bio mentioned True Art Speaks, so I do want to say that I'm the founder and executive director of an arts and culture institution called True Art Speaks. We've been doing work in this community for 19 years. Next year is our 20th year anniversary. Our work is at the intersection of civic engagement, youth development, narrative strategy, and really community building. So follow us on social media, invest in artists. That's a core sort of philosophy that's at the center of our work. Poem. I am choosing something new because I left my house this afternoon and got an alert that ICE was 2 blocks away from my house this afternoon, and then I saw the aftermath. So this feels appropriate. Timely is what it feels. 5 years since, and Chicago, zip ties and night raids, militia blockades in public parkways, our bodies on display in all ways, brown and brutalized. Shoved into concrete, slammed to ground, cuffed on curbs, crying for the children left behind as we're dragged away. We are seen weeping, wounded, wailing, and wanting justice, still weak and unwanted, never strong as we actually are. 5 years since, and I wonder, how many of you were out those nights? Do you still rub where the rubber bullet hit? See the bruise beneath your palm, all bulbous and blue? Do you remember the rain chilling your skin, coating the sky, speckled star dust? How do you frame Somali youth, triggered into survival by a cascade of MPD shots targeting peaceful protesters, their slender brown bodies emerging from clouds of tear gas rolling through our city streets? Were you there to see them? Lift the innocent through the storm, carry them off to safety, 2 boys, any body between them, limp from the hurt of it all, hanging Christ-like from their shoulders? Did you see them activate after being activated? How do you see them now, 5 years since? Still situated in a war zone as refugees, bodies made to remember. Terror comes for them with knees on necks, and resistance requires ingenuity, collaboration, and signals survival sometimes. Signy calls it time travel. When we go to another place while standing in the present moment, I wonder how many of us are still back there or elsewhere in need of a gentle touch inviting us back here. I wonder, did you go to the square? After Derek Chauvin robbed George Floyd of his breath? If yes, how long after? 5 years since, and Gaza's been stripped of anything resembling home, but we can't talk about it like we can't talk about racism anymore, or anti-blackness, white supremacy, colonialism, capitalism, native genocide, Sudan, Salome, the Congo, and the kind of greed that causes lifeless babies to flood our social media feeds, or strange fruit still hanging from southern trees, children who go unseen. We can't talk about it when we don't have the language, when we're being desensitized by it, by a them we choose not to name for fear of affiliation, sameness, surveillance, and truth. Deportation, incarceration, murder too. Did you go to any protests that still haunts you? Carry milk and spill it into another's eyes, your own, perhaps risk your body, feel afraid to fight for something once, ever been to a third world and wondered who's on first and why? 5 years since, and it feels like the 50s. Another black man leading the charge of freedom for this nation. Every black mother praying on her knees that they don't Martin Luther King Jr. Brandon Johnson for his bravery. 5 years since, and what didn't affect you is at your door, without a warrant or a badge, about to snatch you from your home. They're adorned in combat gear, commanded by the rich to eat the poor and rip them limb from limb on live, and you think you have rights. 5 years since the murder of George Floyd, and the last time I broke the police barricade to save a student, in fact, stealing them back to their St. Paul families for my city. 5 years since I've been maced or shoved or beaten by a police baton. 5 years since I've been to the square or written a poem about it, but I carry it to the polls and partner on policy. Can't describe it from memory. I work to make it so we never erect another altar for a life stolen by this system. 5 years since, and I haven't made sense of it. Haven't stopped working against it. Haven't found a name for it. Been searching since May, talking to Amadou, Ahmad, Brianna, Sonia, and Trey. Journalists who've risen from the rubble of Palestine all stand at my bedside and whisper after. Write us and after. A sense that names us whole, human, and worthy of the breath in our lungs, of life, seen for who we are. 5 years since, and I stand here hoping to sculpt an after, honoring the life they've afforded me, this borrowed tongue in time. 5 years since, and I still don't have the answers, only questions to lean into, discomfort to deal with, and I hope you are uncomfortable in this just descent. 5 years since, and there is still no map, just compass aimed at and after. I alter toward an unending, unknown, but imaginable. 5 years since. Thank you.
I'm in awe. That was incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, last but not least, I will share a piece of what I've written from the project I've been working on. It's probably one of the newer essays I wrote this past summer. So just bringing in some raw work, so yeah, see how it goes. You can hopefully chat with me afterwards, would love to hear your thoughts. Okay. This first short essay is called New Test Result Message. So like I was teaching my students this past fall, this is a hermit crab essay, so it takes the shape of an existing form. Hello. You have a new test result message. You may view this report through the portal where blood and guts orbit the data cloud. You think of your father, how he says, "Don't contact me, I'll contact you." And you say in response, "No news is good news." You do this bit a few times rather than say, "I love you" on the phone. It is safer this way. You both laugh, an inside joke, but this is also about survival, the communication protocol. The way you operate when he goes out into the wild for weeks on end and you ask for a list of places to look if he doesn't come back. Once, when your father was overdue to check in, you sent his best friend Jim out on an hour-long drive towards the crazy mountains to see if he might glimpse the old man. Now your stomach clenches anytime you get a new email. Now you can't stand not knowing. To protect your privacy, don't show these details to anyone. Sign in to unravel the findings. In Health, your healthcare team. Study results. Patient name, Marianne Manzler. Age, 26. Birthday, 3/1989. Status, calm, alert, alone, without children. Reading providers, radiology, 02/01/2016. Narrative. While your results load, you try not to think about all the other times you sat in waiting rooms as the flat screen TV monitor shows the same loop of pristine water lap against shores of some faraway paradise. Next door, doctors decipher scans of your body and samples of your blood shipped from across the ocean, slides of your body shored up on the back of a tiny, skinny disc. You imagine the water is frigid against your skin as you slither in, unseen, like one of those bumpy, scaleless snailfish that float in the deepest parts of the ocean trench. This is your chance for redemption. This same water absolves you from what was missed the first time, before the tumors, before the what-ifs, before a cell got twisted up and multiplied out of nowhere. In the room with the oversized scanner, flocks of paper birds hang from the ceiling, and the machine is dressed up with stick-on cartoon characters and mythical creatures. This is a children's hospital, after all. The radiologist tech shows you where to lie down and prepares you for liftoff. Without warning, you are filled with a sudden fullness, then a pressure as your bowels release. Down the narrow tunnel of the scanner, the imposing round entrance beckons you to enter. The tech straps you to the table with two thick Velcro straps, and the machine whirls to life. She binds your feet to the table. You clasp your hands overhead as if in prayer. Warmth travels up your arm and fills your mouth, pooling in your lower stomach. You clench your groin, but as soon as it begins, it stops. When the tech leaves the room dims, the narrow table jerks forward, sending you deeper in. In the next room, a radiologist spends his hour in the digital fabric of the human body and looks at your body in slices. Head down, he takes each picture with precision, capturing each abnormality down to its millimeter precision. He peers into your insides and renders you on the screen, limb by limb, the silhouette of a human. You could be anyone. Static crackles from above as the voice directs you to breathe, release, breathe. The machine whirls to life, spinning like a wheel inside you, faster, blue-green like the ocean, green, beautiful green. Impression. When you look down, you notice the tech shoes, leopard print flats, identical to your own that you left in the small metal box that smells like a high school gym as your bare feet stick to the sterile towel where you step off the scanner and get changed. I have one more. This one is called Citizen Pinoy. Fish raised our family, Nanai, my grandmother said. Even at the cusp of adulthood, ready to move away from college, Nanai mothered me in English and Tagalog. Nai, what if I lose Tagalog when I move away, I asked. You can't lose it, she said. You can keep saying the same words to keep this part of you alive, like your arm or leg. My grandmother always erred on the side of old breakfast meat, unafraid of any germs or contamination. She kept brown sugar in a glass jar only, claiming it kept it fresher. Every year, from grade school to high school, my mother and I traveled to Subic Bay for Holy Week. A week of religious celebration and rituals of atonement fell on my birthday as blindfolded men marched down the streets with sharp blades that pierced their skin while we cut cake and roasted a pig underground. Wala pa kaya ko alam sayo, my cousin said, the same age as me at 19, slowly enunciating each word. This will be funny to say to your mom, I said, mimicking her. I desperately wanted to fit in as I shaped my mouth over the words and built a body of language like her while a bundle of power lines hung overhead. From barely understandable words sprouted a rib cage, a spinal column, a full set of teeth. I hammered new syllables and tried to hold a sentence together. Tagalog is a messy musical language, pitches of sound split by teeth and spit, as familiar to me as any nursery rhyme or 90s song. Even though I didn't always know the words, I still hummed along and filled in the gaps as best as I could. In between swirls of sinigang, Nanai braided another plait of hair for me. I traced her hand-stitched lace flowers that lived safely beneath the protective sheath on the dining room table, each tiny design webbed formed its own constellation of possibility. The Filipino channel blared from the TV loud because her hearing was going. She wanted to stay up to date on the news back home. We sang her favorite songs together, from Singgaling to Too Good to Be True, Citizen Pinoy, Halik sa Umaga, Halik sa Hapon, Halik sa Gabi. Thank you. All right. Yeah, I'm ready for you, Daniel. And then there is an open mic sign up, so would love to hear some of your all's work. There's beverages and food in the back. Please take some, nourish yourself, but I've been I feel so full from all of the work that I've heard here. And there is an evaluation in your program, so would love to hear your thoughts about tonight's event. So we'll let James take it away. Okay.
Switch on a little song was
Yes.
better vibe for what we were doing.
Here's the sign up if anyone's interested.
Oh, Rachel did, actually. You're a light.
Oh, that's my job.
You're good at it.
Turn the gears on.
Right? You're like, what can I do?
We used to have one.
I'm about to buy one and bring it to y'all.
Yeah.
And be like, this is a gift.
It's going on the list.
Yeah.
Thanks for your words.
How's everybody doing?
Hello. That was a few.
So, you guys can hear me pretty well. So I am Daniel. I go by Daniel the Violinist as my artist name.
This is over there on that
Artist
table,
name.
yeah.
And I had the wonderful pleasure of playing Marianne and Kenny's wedding last summer, so that was really nice. But today I'm going to play kind of a variety of soul, R&B, and I think might end with some Afrobeat music. And so, you guys might recognize at least a couple of the songs I'm going to do. Sure I got a good angle on that. Let me know if it's too loud.
intro. I'm going to introduce you. Now I'm going to do your outro. Daniel Gilbert is a Minneapolis-based violinist and violist whose musical journey is rooted in passion, precision, and a deep love for collaboration. He holds a bachelor's degree in violin and viola performance from Millikan University with graduate studies at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where he refines his craft and artistic voice. Thank you so much, Daniel. That was amazing! Okay, well, we have a little bit of time left for our open mic portion. I know we had one sign up so far, so I'm gonna put out another call. The list is back there. I'm gonna go grab it real quick. Heck yeah. Oh, we got a couple of names, okay. Okay, we're gonna start with Sindra Holm. Thank you so much, Sindra. Thank you.
Hi everybody, what a great event. Thank you so much for all the new voices I'm hearing tonight. This poem came when I was thinking about two different trips. One to Europe and encounters with humans, and another to Red Wing with encounters with nature. Part of my strategy sometimes with writing poems is to mix up two or more things and see where they connect, where they conflate, where they converge. So see where you might feel all those things in the mashup here. It's called Into. The chartreuse scarf traveled from Germany. I hiked until I came to a scenic lookout. It was not a gift from a lover, where a heron, close as inevitable, pulled the river behind it, but a gift I gave myself in my lover's presence. As noon sun wings spanned my perambulations, an elixir made by cloistered monks cleaves color. I could half the day make motion of virtue by arriving, velveted at the minute's diminishing throat. To speak is to construct it, adventure a river where immersion fastens language to tongued silk, possibly overlooking my own visage on the cliff's rise. A certain shade of altered vision first tips the glass to fly into the Danube, the canon, curve and flow, a tonic a lover offers one who travels by wrapping what feels green, charmed, or moving. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much for sharing, Sandra. Okay, we've got JT Cunningham next. Thanks, JT.
Before I get started, is there a time limit at all, or
2 minutes.
2 minutes? Okay.
Yeah.
If I run over time, can you just put your hand up?
Yeah, I got you.
I'll find a good place to stop.
Absolutely.
All right, this is from an excerpt of a short story called "The Softness of All Silence." It was only 6 months after his discharge from the Mayo Clinic that Robert Hopkins went out into a shed, loaded his shotgun, and blew his brains out. It was only 6 days afterwards that his widow released the first and only statement she would ever give about her husband's death. It took only 6 seconds for Lawrence Senhouse to walk from his desk into his office bathroom and drive Eve into the toilet. By the time he returned the crumpled newspaper on his desk beside the placard with his credentials and his rotary phone, Lawrence felt as though he'd lost 5 pounds and aged 10 years. For a moment, all he could find the strength to do was stare at the window at the falling snow, light and airy crystals gently floating through the pale gray abyss. He twisted the dial on the phone and waited for the operator to put him through to Mary Hopkins. He was a basket case, his old friend Norman said later. Norman, man of means, man of the world, man of substantial inheritance, man who never stopped being a boy. Case in point, his PhD was in botany, which he earned by studying flowers in the French Alps in between week-long ingestion periods of cannabis and sweetbreads. All drunks are basket cases. Hopkins had been a drunk, everyone knew that, especially later on when his frequent television interviews became infrequent, and his speech, when he bothered to talk at all, took on a slurred, uncertain quality that directly contrasted with the assuredness from his earlier ones. His complexion took a hit. Even someone who spent as much time in the sun as he did tended to look pinkish and flushed, when that time was also spent draining half of Key West of his whiskey. He wasn't like that, not always, Warren said. He was rather personable. I suppose you would know, wouldn't you? Long history of knowing personable drunks and everything. It was Norman's way to put pressure on how far the friend thing could stretch. But in this matter, yes, Lawrence knew. As much as he wanted to refute it, he knew. My father wasn't like him, he wanted to think, to say, but his father had been. His earliest memory of the man, son of an oat farmer out from Pennsylvania and a vowed disciple of the Fire and Brimstone School of Divinity, was that of him dropping a bottle on the floor. He would never know what sort of booze spilled out, other than it smelled rank and the dog got drunk off of it. That a good question? Thank you.
Thanks, Vicky.
Thank you so much. Jessica?
Hello, I'm Jessica Clem. I'm a writer-editor here in Minneapolis, and I'm going to read for you a poem called Hiraeth. It's a Welsh word for homesickness or nostalgia, and I wrote this poem a few years ago after my grandma passed away. She lived in a very not up to code farmhouse in rural Nebraska, and so when she passed, we burned her house down. And so this is what I wrote after that experience. Here we lay to rest the bones of my grandmother's house, in the country dirt, velvety with worms. As the match catches and flames crawl up the front door, I realize, in the blink of an adult eye, a year disappears. That's why as children, we can't understand the value of staring contests. Fighting the humidity, the flames climb eagerly, pulling themselves along the peeling roof with blue-tipped fingers, hungry for asbestos and peeling wallpaper. While the house is devoured, I remember coffee splashed with milk, spilling on old newspapers, while she fanned a grease fire toward the open screen door. I remember searching for soda pop in the back of her dusty pantry. My cousins and I shrieked over the gams of a passing daddy long leg. As the flames engulf the porch, I hear screaming from the living room from several Christmases ago. I hear the tearing of wrapping paper, siren bright, bodies everywhere, flopped across pillows, swollen with ham and potatoes. Gluttonous, the flames eat themselves to death, their fat fingers turn to ash, bones picked clean. The house dissolves like a sandcastle on the beach of a pastoral sea, and the moonless tide of prairie grasses carries it and the memories and the aching love to their watery grave. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. That was awesome. Next up, we have Sandra.
Thanks, Marianne.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Xander Gershberg. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm going to read excerpts of a long poem, a 2-minute excerpt perhaps. This is let's see, what do I want to say about this poem? So this is part of a longer poem I'm working on that is broadly speaking about an ancestor of mine's memoir about that was written in German about surviving the Holocaust. And I'm writing about it in a 2025 lens, really struggling with many aspects of the document, both in the trauma it depicts and also its politics or how I imagine its politics. And so I kind of write as a tentative translator and as a tentative documentarian. And I am fresh out of a workshop with this and poem. Things are in different orders, so if I stumble, it's recapturing that. Okay. I introduced to Willie a prologue, craft his painted costume. This costume prefaces his exits. This setting is Berlin, earlier, Weimar. This sentence grasps for his joy, his play, reunion. This play stages Willie's sidelocks and shears, his mirror and persona. This Willie loves an Aryan woman, queerly. They share a stage. I gather. I play with ache. This sentence wonders instead of sees. This ache I gather into performance. I wind into history and fable. This sentence frequents the cabaret. This sentence compares blues, Hugh's music to Iris. This music rhythms the gait of blue-eyed. I play towards a simpler sentence. I sentence the sentences of a life he did not write. I claw at gauze. I cannot read closer. This sentence contains child's play. This sentence contains death. This sentence covers like an umbrella of worship. This sentence cups the other preceding to an architecture of careful words. This sentence is redacted. This metaphor and harnessed tongue are redacted. This detail is redacted in service of translating for American audiences a respectable victim. This sentence flips its subject and purpose. This sentence purposes a subject for future violence. This sentence wishes for once to oppress. This wish is a tongue that churns at its mention. I mention this sentence with sacrifice. My sentences for Willie are tenuous. Annie is my family, a tenuous scene she falls from, grayed by sidewalks. I weep for each country we've stepped into. I weep for a tenuous sentence, barred by the subsequent hour. I plan for a simpler sentence like, you are my uncle, my aunt, you are my love. I simply see the angel of a beckon card, a paper message that gestures beginning. I simply sentence a pat sound against your back because of its silence. You are my uncle, you are my aunt, come eat, I hug you, love you. Thanks.
I love that you tested out some material here tonight. Thank you so much. Okay, last but not least, we have Landon. Yeah, Landon, thank you.
Hey everybody. Sorry. My leg fell asleep and I didn't have my shuffle up, so I'm a bit of a disaster right now. This is really cool. I just want to thank Michelle. I've known Michelle since she was an MFA student and I was an undergrad student, and she was like a big sister to me when I was a disaster of a teen. And thank you. These are messy. I'm a high school teacher. I've spent the last 5 years exclusively focusing on that, and so this is the first time in a while I've had any opportunities to kind of share my work or be around other artists, and so this is really cool. So thank you for this opportunity. This is an ekphrastic poem called La Concha Nighttime. It's by Dario. It's based off a painting by Dario de Reyes, and it goes like this. La Concha Nighttime. I find you in the quiet, amid the night blooms and purple hue, where soft tropic night permeates longing art. Our eyes meet and hold, simmering in the darkened radiance, the sea-warmed air murmuring memories to sweet future. I find you in the slow, in midnight tinged with human stillness, in time's smooth trickle where twilight rests her head on my shoulder, where music of the shrouded world fades into focus from the gloom. Between tree shadow and lantern's pull, we blend softly together. I find you in the murk, where fallen sky mingles with surface, baylight synapses twinkling, shimmering on slow tides, where waning moon's glow fights against dust's might, sweet nights burning together, whispered conversations of hope.
Thank you for teaching those youths. Really excited to have you here. Okay, well, this concludes our evening. Yes.
Can I make one quick announcement?
Yes, absolutely.
The teacher in the room reminded me. So I brought these writing prompt decks. There are over 30 prompts in the deck. They're all social justice based focused, but I wrote them with educators in mind. Also writers, obviously.
Yeah.
But writing prompt decks organized all around social justice, reform, content, blah 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 blah, all those things. So
Can we buy them?
You can totally buy them. That is. I never do the merch thing, so I forgot.
Great. So please, and then, did you bring books?
Yes.
Okay, please buy books, please buy merch. I don't have anything other than the food. Please eat, drinks. Please fill out the evaluation. The QR code is here as well as in your program. It's really helpful to me. I use it for grant reporting purposes as well as to improve future events. So love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to stick around for a little bit. We'll be here. If anyone else has any announcements,